Hello, it's time to play some dominoes. I hope I'm more successful than I was yesterday. We'll start with the easy puzzle. Let's play pips. All right, what do we have here? We need an 11, which is a 6 and a 5. We need 3 of something, which looks like it'll be 5s or 0s. I don't think it'll be 0s because I think that will absolutely destroy our less than 8. Well, actually, no, that's true. That's true. Because if we used all 0s for the equivalence region, we could make 7 with 4, 1, and 2, but then we'd still need one more tile. So okay, so the 11 is 6, 5. The 10 is 6, 4 or 5, 5. But we need 3 5s for the equivalence. So the 10 is 6, 4. So that's both 6s spoken for. And right, we need 5s for the equivalent, so that goes there. Nope, come on. That goes there. And then we need a 5 pointing down into the 11, which will be this 6. We then need a 5 pointing out, which is this 0. We then need a 6 and a 4 pointing up from the 10. And we complete the less than 8 with considerably less than 8. There we go. Okay. So that must have been a misdirection intending to make us think about that possibility of 7 with the 1, 2, and 4, but who knows? All right, that was the easy puzzle. We'll move on to the medium. Okay, we need a 1 up there, but we have a few options for that. We need 24 in 4 cells, which will be all 6s, so we can immediately put that in there. And then we'll need 6s pointing down into the equivalence region, and those will be either 2 or 3. So one of them will be here, but it might not be this one. It might be this. It might be this 6, 3. It might be this. Can you swap them out? No, you can't. Okay. So that'll be 2 or 3. 3 looks more difficult. There's only one possibility with 3. Let's just quickly look at that. If that were a 3, we'd need to put this 3 here. Then we'd need to put the 6 here. I mean, there might be no reason. This is wrong. This is an inequivalence region, so we need something other than 2, 2, and 5 to fill the rest of it. So 1. Oh, and we can't. I don't think we have 3 more distinct digits. Okay, so I was correct that this was the harder thing to do in my suspicion, because we have 4s, 1s, but everything else is a 2 and 5, which we've already put in. So that's good. That was efficient. So this 6 goes here. This 6 goes here. So now we need another 2. We do have more of those, though. So that's a little bit tougher to deal with right this second. Oh, and we need 4 of something in the equivalence region. We haven't really looked at that. Is that 5s? I think it must be, which means we need a 1, 5. And then we do have 2 5s, so they could go, for instance, here or here. If they go here, no, they don't go here, because then we'd need to make the 3 in a single domino, which we cannot do. So the 2 5s, well, maybe the 2 5s don't go here. We do have 3 5s. Maybe maybe the 5 points elsewhere. Maybe we have 3 different 5s pointing all over the place out of this. Okay, I guess I don't actually know that yet. Okay. We only have 2 options, though, for the 2. The more difficult one to pull off would be 2, 5, because then we would be constrained in our 5 construction over here. It's not this, so it would have to be this. Then the 5, 3 couldn't point down, because then we'd break our 3, so it would need to be pointing here. This does feel like the harder thing to do, and in fact it breaks, because now we have we have 2 3s in the inequivalence region. Yeah, okay. So I thought this was going to be the tougher 2 to place. I thought this would be the more constrained one, and it was. So I think that means we have double 2 here. So now we need 3 more distinct numbers in the non-equivalence region. We can't use 2 or 3s. So 1, yeah, it'll be 1 of everything we have remaining, which is 1, 4, and 5. That's good, because we need a 5. That means I think we need this 5 overlapping, because we only have enough 5s to finish this equivalence region. So that's good. So we can't have the 5, 3 pointing into the 3, because it'll break it, because we don't have a 0. So it'll be 5, 3 there, 5, 2 here. and the 3 is finished with a 1, and now the inequivalence region is finished with a 4. There we go. That was the medium puzzle. That could have been hard in an earlier era of pips. Okay, but there we go. That was fine. It all solved. I mean, it solved nicely. I had to do a bit of sort of considering, two possibilities, but they all felt elegant, I think. We'll move on to hard. Let's solve it. I've noticed that I think the puzzles by Rodolfo Kirchen seem to be more logically constructed in a way. They feel less guessworky. I mean, I know I was doing some kind of bifurcation, some sort of thinking, well, if it's this, but in a very ordered and specific way, not just kind of randomly slapping things into the board and seeing what happens. Anyway, let's try this hard puzzle. Okay, so we have a 0 connected to a greater than 4, which could be a 5 or a 6. So that's either one of those. We have a 12, that must be 2 6s. How many 6s do we have? We have 3 6s. But we don't have any doubles. Well, of course, it wouldn't be a double 6 anyway, because that would break the geometry. Do we think that's connected to a 1? A 1 would have to be connected to a 6, which we also have. We also have that. We have a double 0, but we have 5 zeros. Some of the, well, I was going to say some of those zeros will need to be used in this 4, but that's not necessarily true. We could plonk a double 1 there, and then have 1s pointing out from either direction. Okay, this feels like it's going to be tricky to me. The 26 can have nothing lower than a 2 in it, because the most efficient it could be, which I don't think will be possible in this grid, would be 4 6s and a 2, but we're already using 2 6s in the 12. Maybe this is where to start. How many 6s do we have? 1, 2, 3 only. Okay, so it's 1 6 and 4 5s. This is our first proper constraint, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 5s. And we have this 2 here. Could this 2 point into that? Do we have, yeah, it could, because we could have a 2 5 here. Actually, no, we can't. We can't do that. I'm just going to place some dominoes, it's totally irrelevant to the numbers in them. But if we put this 2 5 here, and we put this domino here, then this here, oh, no, never mind, sorry, we could do this. I was about to make a completely fatuous inference. Okay, so never mind. This is, in theory, at least at the moment, is fine. Okay, well, okay, so we know some things, though. We have 2 6s in the 12. We have a 1 here. We have, what did I say? 1 6 and 4 5s in the 26. That's pretty good. 2 zeros here, another 0 here. How many zeros do we have in total? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, we have 5, so we have 2 extra to work with. We have a 4-sized equivalence region. That's probably pretty constrained at this point, because we've used all of our 6s, and I think all but one of our 5s. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. Okay, so could the equivalence region be zeros? No, because among other things, it will need a double of its type somewhere. Yeah, there will be a double either here or here. We can't get away with not having a double of something in there. Okay, so it could be a 1 in theory. If it is a 1, does that break the 4? Have we used too many 1s? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 1s. That would leave 2 more 1s in the form. Now, I think that's fine because we have a 2 0. We have stuff like that. Okay, so it could be 1s. Could it be 2s? I think it could be 2s. Oh, I should bear in mind that we also have a 1 up here. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So if this one were 1s, we couldn't bridge these, because then we'd already have used our double 1, and we wouldn't have one to use here. That's interesting. I kind of want to just try this and see, because what that would mean is we would need this to be the 1 6 pointing up there. That would be necessary. This double 1 would have to go here, because anywhere else would require a second double 1. So this would be here. We still have an extra 1 to play with. one of the ones would need to point into this 26. That's a good thing to think about as well. That's meaningful because, well, I mean, it's a 5. We still need 4 more 5s up there, which isn't like the end of the world. The zeros. Oh, it's also worth bearing in mind that the zeros, we don't have a double 0, so there will always be a domino in this particular position here, going into the equivalence region. Does that mean we always need the doubled one right here? I think it might mean that. Because if it were here, no, it doesn't. If it weren't, in the case of ones, we do. But in the case of it not being ones, we could have something else going here. We could have a 2-1, for instance, going here if we were making this out of 2s. And then we could have the doubled 2 here. And then we would have a 2. Maybe this is where it breaks. No, it doesn't. Because this is a 5. That's fine. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I thought this was really going to push me forward, but I'm not sure that it necessarily does. I should remember that I have 3 zeros spoken for when I'm thinking about this 4 region. How many of these do we have again? 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we have 5 minus 3. We only have 2 zeros to work with in the 4. So the other, in theory, if we maximized those, the other 2 could go all the way up to 4, in theory. So we could have, I'm not saying this is correct, but I just mean, like, in theory, we could have a double 2 here, and then zeros coming off of it, or something like that. I don't know. What about our 0 greater than 4? If it were a 0, 5, does that break things because of how many 5s we need? I don't think it does. 1, 2, 3, 4. But all of our 5s would be dedicated to this thing over here. Excuse me. I can't immediately determine if I think that's a problem. Okay, this is very tricky. This is very tricky. I can't figure out where the hinge is. I feel like there's going to be a hinge here where there's sort of one of 2 ways something could go, and one of them will break. But I just can't quite identify where I think that is. We have 1 5 to play with. So the 6 could be a 5, 1. And we've used all of our 6s, right? So it couldn't be a 6, 0. I don't think it could be a 6, 0 anyway, because it would have to overlap here. We don't have a double 0, and then we'd need another 0. I guess that's fine in theory. It could be something like this. But I don't think it matters because we've used all of our 6s. We need 2 of them up here and 1 in the 26, so it's just not the case. So, boy, I don't know. All right, I should try. Let's go back to trying this with 1s. So this would have to be this way. This one would go with a 5. No, wait, this is wrong. No, this is wrong, right? It has to be, sorry, this one has to be this way. That's why I'm trying it, because it's more constrained. Because then we need a 1, 6. And then a 1 goes into something with 4. Which couldn't be this 1, 4, because that'll blow this out. We don't have enough zeros for that. So this would have to, I guess, be a 1, 2. So what can we do with the 4? The 4 can have no more than a total of 2 in it. Which is actually very difficult. That would have to be this, wouldn't it? And then we need a 0 here. Okay, this is interesting, actually. This is getting interesting. 2, 3, 4, 5. We're using 5 zeros at this point. How many? We need 4 more? That's all of them. This uses all of the zeros. This is interesting. This is pretty constrained. So we need something that goes into the 6. I don't know if it's this. I'm just sort of putting things down. I don't think it can be this, actually, because then we'd need a 2, 0, which we've already used. So that's actually not possible. So it could be 0, 5. This would then be a 1, 0, which we also don't have. Okay. This could be a 0, 3. We then need a 3, 0. Okay. 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 This is interesting. I don't think this is possible. Unless I've made a mistake elsewhere, which is eminently believable. I don't think it's possible to complete this 6. I think this is what breaks. This is the hinge that I was mentioning or hoping for. I think this is all forced up to this point. I hope what I've said is correct. I think this is the only way to do 1s in the equivalence region. And it doesn't work. All right, I think that means this needs to be 2s. Is that true? Are there any other digits that work? I don't think there are. So 26, you'd have to have a 2 connected to a 5 or a 6. We have 2, 5. I don't think we have 2, 6. I think we looked at that before. No, we don't. So that's 2, 6. Okay. Then I think we could have double 2 here or double 2 here and 2, 1 here, unfortunately. This feels like the more difficult one to me because of the 4 region, which is pretty constrained. But, you know, we do have lots of low numbers at this point. So I'm not sure if it's really all that difficult. Well, we couldn't put a 3 in here because then we'd need a 1, 0, which we don't have. It's at least one thing we can't do. 2, 0. No, we couldn't do this actually either because then we'd need a 2, 0, which we don't have. Maybe this is on the more constrained side. Here, then we'd need a 2, 0 here. We could do that. And then we'd need 6 in 1, which is either 5, 1 or 4, 2. That's fine. Oh, no, wait. No. Sorry. This doesn't work. Because this never works. Because then we'd need a double 0, and we don't have that. We've never had that. Sorry. This never worked. I should have realized that. So that means the 2's go here. I hope what I've just said is correct. And then we would need a 2, 6. Oh, do we not have a 2, 6? Have I built myself into another terrible corner where I've ruined my life? We never have a 0, 0. Sorry, I keep doing this recently. I'm just overlooking something and creating an impossible situation. Yeah, we can never have. Oh wait. No, sorry. I don't. No, wait. No, I need a 2, 1 here. What was I trying to do? No, this is the thing that doesn't work. Sorry, this is the thing that doesn't work. Because yes, then we create geometry that requires double 0, which isn't possible. Oh, no, we do have a 1, 6 here. Sorry, was I thinking I needed a 2, 6? Sorry, I just had a blip in my brain, and I was thinking I needed a 2, 6. That's not what I need. Okay, so this is fine. This goes here. This is fine. Now, right, so the 2 options here, we have 2, 4. This is definitely not going to work. That's for sure. Just do these in order. We have a 2, 0. I mean, this is the most open-ended one, obviously. But I think when we get to the 6, once again, that's going to be the hard part. So here, just again, going in order, we have a 3, 0. We could put a 1 something, like a 1 here, and then a 5, 0. That works. That's fine. What about other ones? 2, 0. Go there. 2, 1, I guess would be the last choice. Now we need a maximum of 3 in here. 3, 0, then we need a 0, 2. This also works. Then we could have a 4, 0 here. Okay, there might be some other reason these start to break, but yeah, these look possible to me. So some version of this, I think, is probably what we want. Okay, we still could put our 6s. Well, actually, does 6, 0 work? This might not work, because now we only have what? 1, 2, 3. We only have 4 zeros to play with. But I don't think I was ever using 6, 0 down here anyway. But I think I might have been using enough zeros, actually, because then this 0 would need to be 0, 5 to fulfill the greater than 4. And now we only have 3 zeros left. That feels very, very difficult. Might be impossible, because in the 6, we could put a 0, 3 here, but then we wouldn't have a 3 at all. So that's not possible. We could do 0, 2. Well, maybe this works then. We could have 2, 0 here. Maybe this works. Then we could do 2, 1. Well, this one doesn't. This actually doesn't work. What about 2, 1 here? This is kind of the same thing, I guess, actually. Yeah, this is the same thing. It's just in a different orientation. Okay. What about this 0, 2? Then we can have a 4, 0 here. I think this might still be the same thing ultimately, because then we'd need to put this 2 here, and we'd still need 3, which we also can't achieve. Okay. So I think that might mean we can't put this 6, 0 up there, which means we'd need to put this 6, 4 up here. It's not a huge gain, but it's something. We still don't know if it's 0, 6 or 0, 5 over here, though. That wasn't part of that. That was only a consequence of one of those possibilities. Woof, this is tough, isn't it? I mean, I'm probably missing some obvious things here. This 4 pointing up into the non-equivalence region. Non-equivalences are so hard to think about until you've got more in the grid. All right, we need something going into the 26 here. Then we need all 5s and 6s here. Oh, you know what? Our last 6 is used here. Sorry, I should have remembered that. We've used all our 6s. So this greater than 4 is a 5. It is a 0, 5. That's been available for absolutely ages, I think. Okay, sorry about that. That does go there. I don't know that it does a huge amount for me right this moment, but I should have put it in a while ago, I think. And then how many 5s do we have left? 1, 2, 3. Yes, that is all the 5s. That is all the 5s. We have no leeway with 5s, which means one of them needs to be doubled. And it can't be here because that breaks the geometry. And it can't be here because that breaks the geometry elsewhere. So it's here. Good. That's something. We now need a 5. This 5 must go here in that case, which means this 6 goes here. We're doing it. Something's happening. It's finally happening. I don't feel as frustrated because even though I'm going slowly, I don't feel that I'm going slowly. I'm not acquitting myself brilliantly, but I'm not just sort of fumbling in the dark, which is good. I'm at least making proper conjectures and inferences, I think. I mean, I can't wait till this whole thing fails and I'm made to eat my words. So this could be 0, 4 or 0, 2 or 0, 3. It can't be 0, 3. There's no way to do that. So it's 0, 4 or 0, 2. This might be a thing where it just works out to be kind of the same either way, depending on just how you flip the tiles around between these two areas, but I'm not sure about that. So then this could be, this might be that same problem I kept running into, where we need to make a total of 3 inside here. Oh, wait, no. Oh, actually, how do I do this? Maybe I have made myself an impossible situation. I think I might have immediately just created an impossible situation for myself. Oh no, maybe this is what I want. No, it's not. I hope I didn't make a mistake all the way back at the beginning and this 2 equivalence region actually needs to be 1s the whole time. Oh wait, no. That's fine. Oh no. Oh no. I'm breaking it. Because this would need to go here, and then I only have a double 1. Is there any way out of this? The thing happened. I'm all the way at the end, and it's a catastrophe. Is there something I can do over here to pull out of this. I don't see an easy thing. Could this somehow be a 2-1? Because no, this would need to be a 2-4. This is the situation where someone on the comments will say, all you had to do was change this to that. Oh, no. I think this 3-0 has to go in here. I think this is exactly what I did before. Yeah, it is. I think I've created an impossible thing. Can this 3 go anywhere else? I don't think it can. Well, unless it goes over here somehow. This would be the only other place it could go. That doesn't really feel possible. I think I've ruined it. Oh, oh. Oh, what a relief. What a relief. Okay. Yeah, I was really focused for some reason on this 3 being the key to finish that 4, but it wasn't. It wasn't. I needed the 4. It's funny because this 0, which felt so critical, ended up just going in the worthless void. Wow. Okay. I mean, I think that was a really good puzzle. It was just very slow. I was very slow. I think until the end, when I think failed to see a critical situation, I was making reasonable logical progress. I was just doing it very inefficiently and slowly. Um, but I think that was a very well crafted puzzle. All right. Well, there we go. Those were the pips. Back tomorrow. Bye for now.